call to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America,
of the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible.
liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the agenda.
So move.
Second?
Call for a vote.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Approval of the public hearing minutes, IUP Residential Zone Business, David Pavoni, 16731 Potomac Street Northeast, request on 12/6/18.
So moved.
Second.
Call for a vote.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Approval of Planning Commission meeting minutes on 12/5/18.
So move.
Second?
Call for a vote.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Now we're going to have a public hearing and discussion for 14744 Hornsby Street Northeast variance request, pages 1 through 9. And at this time, I'd like to ask the secretary to read the notice as published.
City of Columbus revised public hearing notice variance. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing will be held by the City of Columbus Planning Commission on Wednesday, December 19th, 2018 at 7 p.m. or as soon thereafter as parties may be heard in the City Hall located at 16319 Kettle River Boulevard, Columbus, Minnesota, to consider a request for a variance to increase the letter size from 48 inches to 96 inches for two wall signs for two locations on the building Bear Home in the CS Community Retail Zoning District. The hearing shall continue until all evidence and testimony has been received. The applicant is Joseph G. Pribble. Property owners Prib Capital LLC. Property location is 14744 Hornsby Street Northeast, Columbus, Minnesota. Legal description as listed, signed Elizabeth Mersko, zoning administrator.
Thank you. And at this time, if the applicant could please come forward. Welcome. If you could just state your name and address for the record.
Joseph Pribble, 1467 8th Avenue Southeast, Forest Lake, Minnesota, 55025.
Thank you, sir. And if you can just give us a little background on what it is you're asking.
Yeah, all the plans were originally drawn with the artwork and the sizes that are in these sketches. And I guess we weren't sure of whether the signs were going to be an issue as far as sign ordinance. And I brought it up at the meeting in October with the city council regarding, I guess it was a final plat review and
The conditional use permit, yep.
yeah, conditional use permit and all those approvals. And I asked, can we get that design approved at the same time? And the council seemed to be in agreement, but the city attorney said, we'd have to check with the sign ordinance first. And so we did that as a follow-up, and it turns out that the capital B in the Bear is 96 inches, and the code is, it has two stipulations, 15% coverage or a certain letter size. And the 15%, we're well below that. We're like less than 2%. But the size of the capital letter B in the name Bear is 96 inches. And so it exceeds that code permit. And I think part of it is probably when that ordinance was written, nobody expected to have a building this size, or where it's maybe didn't project, what the impact could be on this size. So we're basically requesting to get approval for what we're proposing or what the original design was, and the city seemed to be, accepting of it until we got into the details of whether it met the ordinance or not. And in this sketch that Elizabeth is pulling up right now, you can see what the difference would be. The bottom one is a size that would meet the ordinance, and then the top is what we're asking for. So it kind of shows you the difference. And we specifically purchased this land and paid a premium for it because of the visibility on the interstate. And so it's important to us to have it be of a size that a person can read from passing by. And we're competing with a lot of other signs, you know, on that strip of interstate. And in the paperwork, I showed you the Gander, you know, our neighbors across, almost directly across the freeway, and their letters are certainly at that same size that we're asking for, and they've got the entire word of Gander, you know, at that size, and we only have the one letter. And so it seems like we already have a precedent in that area for billboards and other commercial buildings to have that size, and we're just asking, you know, to be accommodated the same way.
Any questions for the applicant?
No, sir.
Hearing none, I'm going to open the hearing to the public. Anyone from the public want to speak? Anyone from the public? Okay, I'm going to close the hearing with the right to reopen. So the Gander Mountain,
I don't know how big those letters are.
they're definitely, I agree with them, they're more than 4 feet or,
Yeah, I mean, in that photo, you can see the letters and you can see the doors, and those are 8-foot doors. I mean, they're commercial doors, standard. And the letters are at least that tall on that. And so, you know, there's no way for me to measure them, but I don't think we're asking for anything that other people, you know, that already hasn't been granted previously.
The Gander went up in 2003. That's why I don't know what the size letters are. I know the outdoors are 48.
The outdoors.
what was the thinking when they wrote the ordinance? That was before my time on the signs. That was all, so I have no idea. I wouldn't be able to remember, but what was the thinking with such small lettering on the?
Actually, at the time, that was more than what was allowed in any other community. We were actually pretty lenient with, you know, size letters and such. And we had some input from the local commercial business people, and they had indicated that they felt that that was a good way of going. So what we did was the letters were proportionate to the sidewall of the building. So as Mr. Pribble indicated, it's a percentage of the, 15% of the wall, you know what I mean, so that it's proportional. And those are the numbers that we had come up with at the time.
And I think, you know, part of it is just, this scale of this building is so much larger.
Yeah, I mean, it is, that's the problem. It's a, you know, that might work on a smaller building, but when you get a proportionally larger building,
Because we're still only like 2%, less than 2%. So.
yeah. I mean, that looks good to me on the top. That's what I would want if it was mine, I guess, but.
And I think if you decided to go in that direction, that would be one of your findings, that the letters are in proportion to the wall size, and any smaller, you know, would be a hardship because you wouldn't be able to read it.
And it's really the B that's the problem, right?
Yeah, it's just the letter B.
You know, you got a special circumstance here too. The B is, you know, did anybody ever think about capital and lowercase letters, you know, I mean, when they wrote that ordinance? You know, because his choice could be all caps, or he could go the route he did here with the capital, you know, proper English where you get capitalized and lowercase, or. I don't know, what do you guys think?
Make it bigger, make it brighter.
So then we move on to the variance checklist. Number 1, the landowner proposes to use the property in a reasonable manner. Question, does the proposal put property to use in a reasonable manner?
Yes.
Yes.
Finding, do the requirements in the zoning ordinance prohibit the property from being used in a reasonable manner?
Yes.
Number 2, the plight of the landowner is due to circumstances unique to the property not created by the landowner. Question number 1, what are the unique physical characteristics of the particular piece of property?
Size.
It's on the freeway and it's a big, big building. Size, yeah. Number 2, how is it not like other pieces of property? Size.
Correct size, yep.
Did the landowner create the circumstances?
No.
Are the circumstances unique to the property, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Granting the variance is in harmony with the purpose and intent of the zoning ordinance. Question, will the resulting use or structure be compatible with the underlying purpose and goals of the zoning ordinance?
Yes.
Yes.
Finding the variance, if granted, will not alter the essential character of the neighborhood or city, agree or disagree?
Agreed.
Number 4, granting the variance is consistent with the city's comprehensive plan. Finding the variance will not create a conflict between the comprehensive plan and the proposed use or structure, agree or disagree?
Agreed.
Agree.
Number 5, the variance, if granted, will not alter the essential character of the neighborhood or city. Question, will the resulting structure be out of scale, out of place, or otherwise inconsistent with surrounding area?
No.
No.
The variance, if granted, will not alter the essential character of the neighborhood or city, agree or disagree?
Agreed.
Agree.
Number 6, the practical difficulty is not created solely by economic considerations. Economic considerations are not the only reason for the practical difficulty, agree or disagree?
Agreed.
Agree.
So we need a motion then to move this on? With the
Mr. Chair, I'll
recommendation?
make a motion that we, the Planning Commission, send forward under the Minnesota statute 462.357, the variance checklist for the Joseph G. Pribble Capital LLC, 14744 Hornsby Street Northeast in Columbus, Minnesota, Anoka County, for approval.
You want to interject here, Elizabeth?
I just wanted to clarify, Mr. Pribble is asking for a variance for 2 signs. One is on the front of the building, one is on the back of the building, and it's the same variance. He would like the B to be 96 inches on both the front and the back of the building. Just wanted to make it clear that it's 2 signs that he's requesting the variance on.
Agreed. Second.
We have a second? Call for a vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. There you go. The next week's meeting is the 27th,
It is, it's Thursday.
Okay. Thanks. Discussion 2040 comprehensive plan. Please bring your comment handout. Who gets the A+ for bringing their handout from the last meeting? Okay.
Just this part, I didn't bring the whole
Two people.
handbook.
Very good. Did you bring yours? I forgot mine.
I don't think I did.
I did ask at the meeting, Mr. Chair, at the city council meeting, if there was any comments or any other parts that the city council would expand on or anything, and they didn't have any comment.
No comment?
Nope,
Did you guys find anything in there?
No.
nope.
I speed read at the last meeting and I agreed with what was in there, so. So
So no changes? Okay.
then we have the Forest Lake comp plan, pages 10 through 13.
So I had Dean review the Forest Lake, the City of Forest Lake's comprehensive plan. He gave you just an overview of the future growth and the major land use change for 2030. I thought, we made large maps just because I thought it was a bordering community. You wanted to see where they were going with their land use and different designations and, you know what I mean, where they were going with future development. So that's why we wanted to, normally wouldn't we give you these big maps, but we just felt it was an adjacent community and you just might want to look at it. From Dean's comments, he's not recommending any comments to send back, but certainly if you feel that you want to mention something, we can take it to the council.
Any comments?
Isn't it amazing that they added 9,000 people?
What's that?
They added 9,000 people, almost 9,000 people since 2016. That's huge.
That is huge. That's like a whole city.
It is like a whole city because, you know, we're like 38 something in population. Yeah, it just, I mean, they added 4650 new households since 2016. We added like 50.
Where's all the housing going in?
You better get some more pens. You're going to be busy.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, sounds like no comments. That leaves us with the city administrator's report.
As you mentioned before, Garth, we are meeting on Thursday, not Wednesday of next week. So it's the 27th, not the 26th. And the city offices will be closed on both Mondays, so Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, both weeks. Offices will be closed, so it'll be open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And with that, I don't have anything further.
Planning Commissioner's report?
Nothing to report.
I have one thing. Elizabeth Dean has a note that nothing is going to happen on Broadway till 2040. About, in his reply to you, regarding the Forest Lake sewer line coming across.
Yeah, even when, do you remember when we had that concept where they wanted to build all those homes in back of
Menards?
Howard Lake Drive in the kind of that area where behind Menards? They really didn't have a whole lot of growth in that area, and the sewer lines, they don't have capacity unless they bring in new capacity for sewer, or oversize it. So I'm surprised, but I think they've changed their focus from the north side to the south side. Or at least from what I can see from these maps.
That's 20 years away.
Yeah.
Then that's it.
Nothing, sir.
I have nothing. I'm at the next meeting. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Call for vote.
Aye.
Aye.